Ladies and gentlemen, Dorian Thompson-Robinson is him. Just like last week in the Hall of Fame game, Dorian Thompson-Robinson had another great showing. He started the second half against the Commanders and he went 9 for 10 for 102 yards and a touchdown. And he's really just making a case to be Deshaun Watson's backup because Joshua Dobbs didn't play that great. He went 8 for 16 for 77 yards and an interception, so he didn't look great. Kellen Mond also didn't look great. He went 7 for 12 for 79 yards and a touchdown. Looked better than he did last week, but out of the 4 quarterbacks that played, Dorian Thompson-Robinson might have been the best quarterback for the Browns. Now, Deshaun Watson did get a few snaps in today, and he went 3 for 3 for 12 yards, and he also had a couple of rushes. He had 3 rushes for 20 yards, which you don't really like to see in the preseason. I just don't see why Deshaun Watson took any risks running the ball. I mean, there was a designed run play for him, which is just strange to me. I mean, they're paying him all this money. I'm sure they want him to play in the regular season, so a little strange to me. But he didn't look bad. He looked pretty decent. But Dorian Thompson-Robinson was the big takeaway. He's showing the ability to be able to stay in the pocket under pressure and deliver the ball, but he also has the ability to maneuver the pocket as well. And I think the good thing about DTR is that he has the same play style as Deshaun Watson in a way, which means if Deshaun Watson does go down with an injury at any point in the season, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, I would feel confident, can step into that role and at least suffice. At least a little bit better than Kellen Mond and Joshua Dobbs can. But on the other side of the ball, the Commanders didn't look half bad. Sam Howell got a few drives in, and he went 9 for 12 for 77 yards and a touchdown. Aside from that, Jacoby Brissett looked pretty good against his former team. Jake Fromm, as a Giants fan, we know he's bad. Chris Rodriguez, the rookie from Kentucky, went for 5 attempts for 39 yards. So not bad by him. Brian Robinson got a few snaps in, as well as Antonio Gibson. But the only really standout performer on the Commanders, at least on the offensive side of the ball, is probably Jahan Dotson. Had a couple of good catches and a touchdown. But besides that, no one else really flashed anything. Moving on to the next game of the night, we had the Packers and Bengals. And Jordan Love had a few snaps. I think he had about 2 drives. And he looked pretty good aside from one missed throw on third down that he just completely overthrew, I believe, either Tucker Kraft or Luke Musgrave. I can't remember which one. But besides that, he played really nice. I mean, he had a nice little lollipop throw to Romeo Doubs in the end zone, which was also just a good catch by Romeo Doubs. So Romeo Doubs definitely looks like a favorite receiver for Jordan Love, as we've heard throughout all of training camp. Christian Watson also had a few targets. Jordan Love had a nice deep ball to Christian Watson, but it was unfortunately broken up by Dax Hill. But it was a nice throw, just a better play by Dax Hill. Jaden Reed also had a few nice catches. And the rookie Sean Clifford played decent. He had a few good throws. He had a bad interception and a couple bad throws. So, I mean, nothing too crazy there. DJ Turner had a couple of great plays. He had one good play on the ball on 4th down to break it up, as well as Colby Wooden. He stepped out a screenplay and nearly got the interception, but, defensive linemen aren't going to have the best of hands, and it just went right through his hands. But it was just a good play. It showed good awareness by him. But all in all, the Packers did kind of blow out the Bengals 36-19. And moving on to the next game, we got the Giants versus the Lions. And there wasn't much to go over in this game. The Lions did win it 21-16. And the only key performer is really Brian Branch. He had an amazing hit on Cole Beasley. And if you know Brian Branch coming out of college, the guy doesn't miss tackles. He's about as sure of a tackler as you're going to get. And he put that on display again today in his first NFL snaps. Deonte Banks, the first-round pick from the Giants, he looked good in coverage. He definitely showcased his physicality at the catch point, almost having a pass interference call, but the flag was picked up. He just had a couple of nice plays. He almost should have gave up a touchdown to Jamison Williams, but Jamison Williams dropped the ball. So that was probably the only bad rep Deonte Banks had. The rookie first-round pick Jahmyr Gibbs had a few nice carries, and he had a really nice catch out the backfield. So Gibbs showcased that he's going to be kind of that all-around back that's going to catch passes out of the backfield as well as take some carries. And the other notable thing from the Giants game was Jalen Hyatt was almost nowhere to be found. He had one screenplay that got completely blew up, and I believe he lost like 4 or 5 yards, and that was his only target. That's the only time you've seen him. So a pretty quiet night from him, which is, somewhat of a bummer as a Giants fan. Moving on to the Buccaneers and Steelers game, Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask kind of had a little competition, and Baker Mayfield definitely looked like the better quarterback. Kyle Trask definitely struggled, and is showing why he shouldn't be the starter. He just had a really bad interception on a curl route. He was just super late to the throw. Kyle Trask, that is. Baker Mayfield, he looked pretty good. He had a touchdown throw. He looked like Baker Mayfield. You're not going to blow you away, but he's also not complete garbage. And on the other side of the ball, Kenny Pickett looked really good on the few plays that he had. He was connecting with Deontay Johnson quite a bit, I believe about 3 times. And then he also had a really nice throw to George Pickens. And George Pickens is looking to have a prime breakout season. At least that's what I'm hoping. And then also Calvin Austin had a few athletic plays. I think he got about 2 or 3 end arounds for about 10 to 15 yards. And then he had a really big deep ball for a touchdown. So Calvin Austin definitely looked like one of the best receivers on the field. And then moving on to the Dolphins versus Falcons game, a couple of rookies to note. Devon Achane looked pretty explosive, but he also showed that he's not quite big enough to run in between the tackles, especially in the NFL. He just got swallowed up and kind of stonewalled as soon as he got touched. But he was also involved in the pass game a little bit, and he looked pretty good there. So he's definitely going to be the Dolphins scat back, but I think Myles Gaskin looked like the better running back of the two. He had a few good carries, and he probably played like the best running back for the Dolphins, being Jeff Wilson didn't play. DeMarco Hellams, the rookie safety from Alabama, had a tipped interception, which was pretty good to see. And then Cam Smith had an up and down game. He had a really nice pass deflection, but then he also loaded up a big play, just playing a little too off on the receiver, and he didn't have the makeup speed to catch up to him after that point, which was a knock I had for Cam Smith coming out of college, was that I don't think he's athletic enough to play boundary corner at least. I like him more as a nickel corner / safety, something like that. Moving on to the Broncos and Cardinals game. Russell Wilson didn't look half bad. He had a touchdown and he went 7 for 13 for 93 yards. So, I mean, it's preseason, but he did look better than he did basically all of last season. So, that's a good thing to see. Jerry Jeudy had a couple of nice catches for 40 yards and a touchdown. And then moving on to the other side of the ball, Clayton Tune, who I was a big fan of coming out of Houston, looked pretty decent. He went 13 for 23 for 135 yards and a touchdown plus an interception. But he also took 3 sacks, so you could tell he's not athletic enough to really make anything happen outside of the pocket, which was put on display today. And also Michael Wilson, the rookie receiver from Stanford, had 2 catches, didn't really do anything with the 2 catches. And that just about wraps up all of the games for today. I just wanted to do a quick overview of all the preseason games that happened today. A lot of the starters didn't play today, obviously. And if they did, they played maybe 1 or 2 drives. So it's more of just to see what the rookies can do / back end of the roster type players. And I think the player of the day was definitely Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He's definitely making the case to be that backup to Deshaun Watson. But with that being said, I thank you guys for watching. If you like the video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing. And as always, this is the Draft Nerd, and thanks for watching.